I found this when I was researching Paul Atkins, and we didn't get a chance to talk about this, I think, but here is Commissioner Paul Atkins from the SEC in April 20th, 2007. Conference co-sponsored by the American Enterprise Institute and the Brookings Institute, right? These are famous places that, people go to give talks. And, my pet peeve with the SEC is accreditation.
Ah, okay.
Right. So here we go. Can you see my screen? I'm going to make it a little. Okay, maybe I'll see if I can make it one size bigger. Maybe that's too big. So I think it's good to read here, right? I'm at a good size. So in this speech, he talks about accreditation. It turns out in 2007, this was a major topic. And he says here, let me highlight it with my mouse, the concepts of economic risk and return also affect a different proposal of the Commission relating to private investment funds. Specifically, part of the Commission's proposal would add an additional requirement for any natural accredited person to have at least $2.5 million in investments before he or she could invest in a private investment fund like a hedge fund or a private equity fund other than a venture capital fund. So a venture capital firm can be accredited. But here they were saying, hey, getting people into hedge funds and private equity in 2007. Can you imagine? There was such an incredible run-up since then that people could, participate in. He says here, the underlying premise for the Commission's proposal is that these types of investments are too risky for individuals other than the very rich. And remember, 2.5 million back then would be like saying maybe 5 or 10 million now. Money's doubled since then at least. Therefore, we have to presume that the non-rich are either unsophisticated or lack access to sophistication, and it is simply not tolerable to have these types of people at risk of losing their money on a hedge fund. Assuming that these premises are true, however, what evidence does the Commission have to support the conclusion that private investment funds are the most risky? Right? That you would, on a logical basis, you'd have to say, well, this is more risky than buying an index fund or a venture fund or gambling in Vegas, which people were allowed to do.
Yep.
And how does the risk profile of a pooled investment compare to the risk of investing in securities of a single issuer?
Right. And just to be clear, this means you can take your money right now with no accreditation and put all of your capital into Jason's fly-by-night corp. On the Jets publicly traded? Oh, you can bet on the Jets. Yes. I was thinking more like you could buy one single stock. You could bet on Kellogg's,
You could buy Nvidia.
Less risky?
Yeah. Sure. You could buy, a SPAC that went to zero.
Sure.
And then I'll just end. Many public comment letters express, we get letters back then, express indignation at the Commission's proposal. One commenter wrote, "Stay out of my wallet. Stop trying to protect me from myself. Stop presuming to know more than I do about my own life, risk tolerance, and financial sophistication." End quote. The Commission's proposal may very well prevent the non-rich from losing their money in private investment funds, but it also certainly will prevent the non-rich from participating in any upside profits and gains of these funds. Does this mean the rich get richer while the non-rich should be content to just hold their place in the economic ladder? This is not a mere rhetorical question, because the so-called smart money investors are allocating increasing amounts of their portfolios to private investment funds as alternative investments. Although this is still a minor part of their allocation, this change in allocation is clearly a market reaction to developments in capital markets. I'll end there.
Yes.
But it's a long way of saying, this is my guy.
Yeah.
I'm psyched about this. Gary Gensler out for this guy? They've been slow rolling and dragging the accreditation laws. This person clearly gets it. If you're an American, he uses the word sophistication, which is what I've been using instead of accreditation, which I like. If there's a path to sophistication, which the SEC has been charged with doing, but they will not do, because I think they're slow rolling it, maybe this guy, maybe my guy, will go, Big Paulie will go in there and say, let's make this fair. I believe that this is the way for people to move from one bracket to another. Why? Why do I believe this? Because I did. My family did. The Calacanis family did. Your family could do this too. I'm not saying bet all your money into it. But I mean, if you had $100,000 net worth and you told me you wanted to put $5,000 in a private equity fund and $5,000 in a hedge fund, I'd be like, you know what? Great. You're going to learn something. Great idea.
especially compared to what people tend to spend their money on anyways. I mean, people often think about what are the risks here for someone who might, put their money into the wrong private investment pool or whatever, but that person might have put it onto, FanDuel. So,
or Hawktua coin.
It's $Hawk, I believe, if you want to look up that blue chip asset and put all your money onto it.
I mean, did she go to jail? Have these people learned nothing? Did they not see every single celebrity get dinged the last time around? Remember, they all got dinged